Good morning, happy Monday. Welcome back to another episode. I am your host, as always, Tyson the Bloody Trainer with two R's at the end because some motherfucker stole my name, Tyson the Trainer, with one R on Instagram, and that guy hasn't been on Instagram for about 12 years. So I'm like, you son of a bitch. But here we are, Tyson the Trainer with two R's. Now, today I want to talk to you guys about progress. The reason I want to talk to you guys about progress is because you suck at measuring your progress. You are using dumb metrics to measure your progress, and that's also why you feel like you're probably unhappy on this whole health and fitness journey side of things. And you think you just know. You're like, oh yeah, I know what tracking progress is. It's the scale weight. Every fucking person, the scale. Like, I don't understand. Like, I guess I do, to a degree, because like the scale is just something that we can look at quite easily on a daily basis. It's numbers. It just tells you a black and white thing, and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, okay, the scale is a tool. It's an easy tool to use, but it's no way. It's like the worst tracking method. It's the most accessible tracking method, and it's the worst fucking tracking method, I would say. Like, that is like the last resort thing I use for managing progress with clients. If I look at any other metric and I see as an improvement, I don't give a shit what the scale says. Oh, but what about if I want to focus on weight? Yes, even if you want to focus on losing weight, it's not the fucking scale. And losing weight is not your goal, okay? I don't think you want to lose muscle mass, do you? You might. You might be so big, so jacked, you need to lose some muscle mass. Fucking doubt it. Your goal is to lose some body fat, okay? And that's not indicative of losing weight on the scale, right? You may just start getting into weight training. You may start losing body fat and gaining muscle at the same time. You're like, oh, but the scale's not moving. Okay, but you got down 2 dress sizes. Interesting with that, Or you're a guy. Oh, you're filling out a shirt. Your arm's looking bigger. Yeah, but the scale's not going down. It's like people achieve one thing. They think they feel better. Like, yeah, I'm happy. And then I'm going to use this fucking inanimate object that just has some numbers fucking printed on it to determine whether I feel good or whether I'm making progress or not. So instead of choosing the wrong things to measure, I'm going to help you guys understand what progress actually looks like and what you should be reflecting on. Because the biggest issue I have with my clients on a weekly check-in is I will ask them, on a scale of 1 to 10, how was your week? And when I see it's a low rating week, and then I look at the reflection of their check-in, and I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. They've done this, they've ticked off this, they've done all these good things. Hey, what makes it a shit week? Oh, I didn't see the numbers go down in the scale. I was like, well, that's not a reflection of your fucking week. And I say that. I'm like, that's not a reflection of your fucking week. Because they know I'm serious when I say these things. Trying to change their mentality. Oh, yeah, I know. But I'm like, no. Like, what we have to understand here, and I try to reiterate to them, which I'm trying to say to you guys now, it's like, you do not get to determine whether your week was a success or not based on the outcome of the scale. Okay? You do not get to determine that. Because you're using the wrong metrics to measure. Fuck me dead. If you want to throw yourself off, go and weigh yourself on the scale, go and drink a litre of water, and then go way back on the scale. Oh, you're a kilo heavier. Well, fucking surprise, hey. What? Go weigh yourself before you go to the bathroom in the morning. Oh, you're heavier. Well, that's a fucking surprise. Like, the scale is so easily manipulated and has no actual... I don't want to say actual accuracy, because it does have an accuracy of your weight going down, but it is in no way an in-depth indicator of whether you're progressing or not. And also, this is where you have to step back, this is where you have to step back and actually decide, like, what are you thinking progress is? Like, take a second just to think right now, what is progress to you? And don't start changing your answer, because I'm starting to fucking go down this rabbit hole. Like, if you think the scale is progress, then be honest with yourself, because you've got to know. But I want to help change that in this podcast. But you got to know where you're at first. And some people are like, oh, well, I don't know what progress is. Well, maybe if I did this is progress. Or if I see this. Like, everyone's going to have a different idea of what progress is. But just write down what you think progress is. Okay? You got 10 seconds. Do it. Don't just fucking listen to me. Don't just listen to this soothing voice. Do something. No, I'm kidding. All right, so basically you've written down what you think progress is. Most of you will have written something that is an outcome, okay? What's progress? Measurements going down, okay? Losing weight on the scale. gaining muscle. These things are very hard to fucking define, right? But a lot of these things are outcome focused. You were determining your progress based on an outcome. And what an outcome is like, you're doing X to achieve Y. You're looking at Y as that achievement. You're writing that down as that is your sign of progress, okay? This is the wrong mentality to have. We do not want to have an achievement, whatever this is, as being progress. The reason for this is because you're now deciding that the actions you're taking on a daily basis, the things you're doing that is actually the steps you have to take in order to get to Y, you're not classing these things as progress. And they're the actual things of progress, right? The outcome is not progress. Progress is what you're doing, let's say for a week, what you're doing in that week, okay? The outcome isn't progress. The outcome is the outcome. Progress is the process, okay? Progress is what you're doing on a daily basis, a monthly basis, whatever it's going to be, in order to get you to your goal. And this is why we have to take a step back and think, are you progressing toward your goal? Not did the outcome that you want to achieve happen? Are you progressing? Are you moving forwards? Okay? I always like to go back to the, having a job. If you're progressing up the career ladder, your outcome is to get to the top, I assume. Okay? But if you get a promotion, are you going to say you're progressing? Yes, If you got more work done than last week, are you progressing? Yes. So we need to look at what you're actually classing as progress, and it's not an outcome-based thing. It is process-driven. So when we look at the week and you want to decide whether it was a good or bad week, you do not let the fucking number on the scale decide whether it was a good or bad week, because you're using the wrong metric to measure whether you're making progress or not. You're measuring, did I achieve the outcome or not? Okay? And also with that, you are looking at an outcome that you can't control at all. I want to lose 2 kilos this week. Well, you fucking can't control that. I mean, you kind of can. You just restrict yourself by drinking water. Don't drink water this week. I guarantee you 2 kilos worth of water weight will come off this week if you stop drinking liquids. Okay? So you've got to have the right things to focus on that's accurately measured, that you're taking steps towards your goal. And this is why I say to clients, I don't want weight goal outcomes, okay? Unless they're a weight-based client in regards to a sport they've got to achieve, weight isn't my fucking number. If you're a powerlifter and we have a weight class to achieve, all right, sweet. If you're a boxer, we got a weight class to achieve, okay, sweet. But guess what? Outside of that, if you're not in a weight class sport, don't have fucking weight as the goal, okay? I've had clients that have put on, when they first started with me, they've put on, females, more than 6 kilos, and they've dropped dress sizes. How? Losing body fat, gaining more muscle, not being fucking scale orientated. Man, my voice and my words are not working today. So imagine like this. Again, imagine you didn't wait. We didn't take any other form of measurement. All right, you started with me. You started on your fitness journey. You're never really being much exercise before. You get into the gym. You go 4 days a week. You're being consistent. You're doing your steps. You follow the things that we talk about. You're like, yeah, okay, this is doing good. You're not weighing yourself. You started with your weight. You're at, let's say, 52 kilos. All right. 3 months later, you weigh yourself and you're at 55 kilos. And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I've gained 3 kilos on the scale. You're looking the best you ever have. Your fitness is fantastic. You've got body shape, you've got tone, you've got all these things. And you're looking at that scale and you're like, I can't believe I'm 55 kilos now. You fit your clothes better. You have more energy. You sleep better. You look better. You like the way you look. You're happy with what you've been doing. But as soon as you stood on that fucking scale, that all went out the window. And that's what so many of you do. You let this thing on the ground determine whether you're making success or not, when that's not what you need to be measuring as success. Because you don't know what you should be measuring as success. You just think, yeah, scale's going to determine everything. It's not going to fucking determine jack all. All right? And if you are someone who is like that scenario where you're feeling good about yourself, you're doing all these things, and then you step on the scale, throw the fucking scale out the window. Burn the scale. Break the scale. Hide the scale. I don't give a shit. Get rid of the scale because you don't have a good relationship with the scale. Okay? If any number on that scale makes you feel a certain way, get rid of the fucking scale, okay? And it's the same thing as people like, oh, I overate over the last few days, and then I weighed myself, and my weight's gone up. As if, like, what do you think's gonna happen, okay? Just like with it's like, did you think that it wouldn't? And then you get on the scale, and did you want to upset yourself or throw yourself off? Like, I don't understand what the outcome is here when people do that. Oh, I'm 3 kilos up, I'm 4 kilos up. Like, Jesus Christ, there's no chance you gain that much weight in a short amount of time, firstly. Secondly, again, why would you do that to yourself if you know you're overeating? Especially if you're not feeling the best because you have been overeating. And then you think, I better check the scale. Okay. Like, are we just kicking people while they're down now? Are we just trying to put ourselves further into a fucking bad state of mind? Because you're doing a good job if that's what you're trying to do. Like, you're setting yourself up for a really fucking ruined relationship with your body and the scale if that's what you're trying to do. So again, if you do any of that dumb shit, do not weigh yourself. Period. Okay? The scale is not our fucking measuring progress here, right? So instead of looking at the outcome as a process with a scale weight, you need to be a little bit more, I don't want to say airy-fairy, but a little bit more like, less specific with your goals. And that way we can actually have some things that we know that are on the right track. All right? So, like, do you want to drop a dress size or two? That's a little bit less specific than a certain weight, because you can be, there are relative weight ranges for a lot of people that can be the same dress size. Okay? You want to be a dress size. You're a guy. You know, you want to fill out your shirt more, so you want to have bigger arms. That's not going to be determined by fucking weight on the scale, is it? No, it's not. All right? You want to gain more muscle. Okay, cool. Like, you know, if that's general, I want to lose body fat, I want to gain more muscle. Well then, okay, if you think about that, let's say you do want to gain more muscle or lose body fat, whatever it's going to be. So, what you're trying to tell me right now is you would like to look better than you do right now, basically. Yes. You want a little bit more muscle tone, you know, a little bit more definition. Yes. You want to lose a little bit more body fat, especially around the areas where you hold it around your stomach, hips, waist type of thing, you know, lower back fat, that type of stuff. Yes. All right, cool. Sweet. Well then, how are you going to measure that? Okay? How are you going to measure if you put on more muscle mass? How's the scale going to tell you that? What if you lost body fat and gained muscle at the same time? How's the scale going to tell you that? Well, it's not, is it? Oh, no, I got one of those body fat scales. Tyson, mine does. No, it fucking doesn't. All right? It's shit. It doesn't fucking work. Okay? So then let's think about how else you can measure this. Well, what's a good indicator that we've gained muscle mass? Well, firstly, your body shape. Okay? You take photos of yourself today. You take photos of yourself next week. You take photos of yourself in 2 months' time. If you want to get leaner and build more muscle, you look at yourself in 2 or 3 months' time in 2 comparison photos, you're going to be able to tell if you're on the right track or not. Okay? That's a pretty good indicator. Photos, great indicator. Again, clothes size, great indicator. Especially if you're a guy, you want things tight around the arms. If you feel sleeves tight around the arms, it's probably a good indicator you've gained a bit of muscle mass, right? If you want your waist lighter, if you want your waist smaller, well then what's going to happen? The clothes are going to be looser around the waist, are they not? For a guy, a belt size is going to go down, is it not? You know, these are indicators we can use of progress that don't fucking relate to the scale at all, you know? Oh, Tice, I've lost 2 notches on my belt. Yeah, sweet. I've got on the scale. Oh my God, I'm the same weight as what I was. What a fuck. I can't believe that. I'm not making any progress. Whoa, you just told me that you fucking dropped 2 belt sizes. Yeah, but the scale hasn't changed. Oh man, I'm not making any progress. It's like, fuck. You're so quick to write off progress when it's like, again, you're measuring the wrong thing. We want to measure, like, we need to use indicators of us making progress that actually give us accurate reflections of what we're doing. And the scale doesn't fucking do that, right? So measurements and photos will be great indicators for you with that. Again, you want to gain muscle around your legs. How do you do that? Well, again, you do your photos, or you take a photo later on, you're at the beach, whatever it's going to be. You're going to be able to see if there's more tone in your legs than there was before, or there's more muscle mass, or whatever it's going to be. You know? Now, I'm saying tone. Some people like, you know, coaches, and this used to be me, oh, well, tone's not a word. If I say tone, or if I say definition, things like that, you all have ideas in your head with what that means. That's fine, okay? Like, I'm just saying these words because you guys use these words, and you've got this picture in your head with what you want. So again, I say, I want leaner legs. What does leaner legs mean to you? You picture this thing in your head where it's like, my quad looks like this, or whatever it is. Or you can see the separation between my quads and my hamstrings and the side of my leg. Whatever it's going to be. That's your indicator of progress. Okay, sweet. That's what you want. That's what you can gauge on. If you take a photo in 3 months' time and you see this little bit of definition, guess what? Surprise, surprise, you're making fucking progress, right? So what I'm trying to get you guys here is to think about what you're trying to achieve and what you can actually use as a measure of progress. I want to build a healthier relationship with food. Well, that doesn't have anything to do with the fucking scale, does it? No. You know? I want to be able to squat 140 kilos. Well, what does that have to do with the scale at all? Nada. Okay? Again, I want to gain muscle mass. Well, that doesn't have anything to do with the scale. So let's just throw the fucking scale out and let's, again, look at these things that are actually going to be beneficial to you and look at these outcomes first. So, firstly, think about what your goals are again. Everyone's going to have different goals. You're mostly going to use the same type of words and shit like that. Define what your goal is going to be, okay? And this is why, like, even though we want to be a little bit airy-fairy, we kind of still want to be clear, okay? Because sometimes people can say, I want to achieve this. And if you don't know, like, roughly what that looks like in your head, or you can't explain it simple and clearly to yourself, then you don't know what you're trying to chase. And the issue with that is if you don't know what you're trying to chase, then you're really not really sure what you're going to be using to measure and track your progress, all right? So like, oh, I want to get fitter. Oh, well, that's fucking pretty broad. What does fitter mean to you, okay? Oh, well, I just want to feel fitter. Okay, what does that feel like to you? Like, you have to ask yourself these questions to get more specific. So for me, if I say I want to get fitter, in my head, I want to increase my VO2 max, right? For those of you who don't know what a VO2 max is, don't worry about it, okay? But for me, I know what that is. That's what fitness is to me. I want to be able to go, do 6 3-minute rounds with boxing without gassing myself out. I want to make sure that my 6th round is almost as good as my first round. Obviously, it's not going to be the best, but I want to be able to compare it. How do I compare that? Measuring my, how many punches I'm throwing, how good my technique is, all those type of things. I now have these little things that I can lay out, okay? That I'm going to use as metrics along the way. Okay, same thing for you. I want to get fitter. Well, is that like running a faster 5K? Is that swimming in a faster time? Is that, for me, when I say fitness too, it's being all around. It's not like I want to be fitter, I want to squat 140 kilos. I couldn't give a shit about how much I lift, right? Strength is not my goal in the gym. Strength is going to be a byproduct of just me with my goals, but it's not like I want to get stronger in the gym. Or again, I want to build more muscle. Well, guess what? That doesn't mean you have to get 140 kilos squat to build more muscle, all right? So we have to have a little bit of a broad range with what we want and then have those little specifics underneath. And just simple specifics, like just certain things. And then finally, be realistic about this, okay? So it's like, I want to be 10%, I want to be 8% body fat. Okay, so you're 40 years old, you've had 2 kids, you want to be 8% body fat, and you work a 12-hour job, you get to the gym like 2 or 3 times a week if you're lucky. Why the fuck would you want to do that? Okay? So like, you've got to be realistic with what you want to say too, with what you want to do. So just have a think about that. Again, I'll give you guys a little bit of time. Put this on pause if you want. I didn't actually think this is going to be like this little goal setting thing, but now I'm actually, making this interactive. So put it on pause if you need to. Think about your goals. Write out a few specific things. Cool. Now let's think about what progress looks like overall with all these things, but also not focusing on so you've got this outcome here, okay? We've got what we kind of want, but we cannot put a time frame on that, okay? I'm going to improve my VO2 max to 52 by December. Okay, well, like, sure, I can write that down and I can aim for that, but I'm not very big on the whole time-bound side of things because, especially when I talk about health and fitness, unless, again, it's a competition, you've got to hit certain numbers, you've got to do all this shit. For me, this is a for life thing. So that for me, there's no, like, end outcome. Like, when I say I want to get fitter, it's continuously a thing. Not like, boom, hit 52 on the VO2 max, life complete. Game over. Finished. No more fitness ever. Because the funny thing is, people also forget, when you achieve a goal, that's when people fucking lose it a little bit, Perfect example, when competitors finish their bikini competition, what happens? They're no longer dieting. They've no longer got a goal in sight. They now have this kind of like period where it's all up in the air. They don't have their period. They have this period where it's all up in the air because their goals have hit it, they've done what they've got to do, and then they fucking fall off the rail. Because now their purpose, they haven't got a competition for another year or whatever it's going to be. They haven't got that long, they've got plenty of time in order to be able to get back into that. They've now just been like, oh, well, I've got no real goal for the next little bit. I'm just going to fucking start eating, because they don't have that intent anymore. All right? Same thing as like, okay, I hit my fastest 5K. Well, now what? Like, when I don't have an intent, my motivation isn't there. That's when people lose motivation to go to the gym. That's when people lose motivation to do things with their health and fitness, because they have an X goal in place. And then it's like, we have to continuously either be resetting goals or making goals that are going to take a long time to achieve. Because happiness isn't in achieving a goal. I wasn't fucking happy when I first ever got a six-pack, you know? Like, my pinnacle of my happiness was not fucking topped out and like I was like, I can die a happy man now. I've had a six-pack. No, it didn't happen, right? As much as we think that outcome's going to happen. Same thing. I'm assuming you guys have got promotions before. I'm assuming you've moved into a better place than you have before. I'm assuming you bought a better car than before. What happens? Oh man, I'm going to be so happy once I do this. Oh man, like you have all these things in your head. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing this. Oh my God, this car, it's going to be amazing. Oh my God. Ah. And then what happens? 2 or 3 months later, we're back to normal, right? The brain has this really good thing where it's always keeping you at a 7, okay? Life goes to shit sometimes and it goes down to a 2 or a 1, and then eventually things come back and it's like, oh, it's a 7. Life is amazing, life goes up to a 10, you got a six-pack, you brought a Ferrari, you know, all that shit, and then it comes back down to a 7. Isn't it? It's funny, like our studies have been done. People who have gotten high amounts of fucking good things in their life, people who have shit things in their life. Everyone always kind of variates, but then we always come back to a 7 because the brain always wants you to keep pushing. It's like, you know what would make me happy next? If we did this. Oh yeah, okay, I'm going to start working for that. I'm going to start doing all this. Oh, I'm going to be happy when I lose 12 kilos. Yeah, fucking oath. Then you lose 12 kilos. Oh, okay. Well, shouldn't I just be happy for the rest of my life then? Like, why are we not happy for the rest of our life? It's because the brain always wants you to keep trying to push for this goal, because the excitement is not in the goal attainment, it's in the process of the goal itself. All right? So this is why I say, don't have super specific goals like one big goal. Give it a bit of variation and then have some criteria that you want to be checking off with that. And that's the same thing I want to say to clients. What do you want to achieve? What are we trying to work on here? What are we trying to do? When they say something like improve my food relationship, great. Okay? That's quite a specific goal. Quite a non-specific goal, I guess you would say. Broad goal is what I'm trying to think of. They've got a broad goal. And we've got plenty of ways. Okay, what do you mean when you want to fix your relationship with food? What does that mean? Bang, 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 bang. Okay. Oh, well, you're going to achieve that in 3 months' time. Don't you worry. We're going to fix that mindset with your food in exactly 3 months by doing X this week, Y this week, Z this week. No. Okay? Because guess what? Time just happens, and sometimes we can't control things like within a specific time bound, which is, again, this is why I don't like specific time bound goals, right? So we're saying that the way we're trying to think about these goals in this process, and again, not looking for that achievement as an ultimate win, we then are going to use those metrics for what we're actually going to be trying to, for what we're going to be using as measures of progress each week, okay? So if you have a body composition goal, let's say that first, a physical goal, we're going to go back to photos. We're going to go back to measurements. We're going to go back to, you know, doing a body check and doing your check-ins. Probably photos and measurements and clothing would be the most roughly relative things when it comes to a physical goal, I guess you would say, in regards to looks, all right, aesthetics. Like, you know, aesthetics is what I'm trying to think of here. Scale weight's not going to mean shit with that, right? So it's like, okay, looks are my goal. To look better, to look fitter, to look leaner, to have more muscle tone. I want more muscle tone on my shoulders. I want to do this. All right, well, what do we do on a weekly basis or a daily basis that's going to be the process in order to get us there? What do we know about gaining muscle? Protein, working out, lifting with weights, eating a good diet, progressive overload, so pushing a little bit harder in the gym, and getting plenty of sleep for relaxing and recovery, okay? If your goal is aesthetics, it's like, get enough food, get good protein, eat a good varied diet, training with weights, all right? That's your process. These are the process things you need to work on, okay? So when you get to the end of the week, and then you ask yourself, if you're reflecting or you have a coach, and they're reflecting on your goals so far, and you are like, what did I, like, was this week good? Yeah, was this week good or bad? I wouldn't say good or bad. On a scale of 1 to 10, let's do what I ask my clients. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you rate your week? Okay. You had the intention to go to the gym 3 days this week. Sweet. You had the intention to eat double your body weight in protein every day. You had the intention to make sure that you had 200 grams of veggies a day. And you had the intention to make sure that you slept 7.5 hours a day. All right? So you got your protein, you got your veggies, you got the gym, you didn't sleep the best. So you got 3 out of 4 things consistent over that whole week. What would you class that? The scale didn't move, by the way. The scale went up by a kilo. What are you going to class that as? Are you going to class that as like 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10? I would say that's like an 8 out of 10. You got 3 out of 4 things fucking nailed, pretty consistent. I'd say it's like an 8 out of 10 week. All right? Because now you're reflecting on the process of what you've been doing. And if you did the things you needed to do in order to get the result you're after, that is progress, okay? It's not about, you look in the mirror the week that week off. You started on Sunday, the following Sunday you look in the mirror and you're like, that was a shit week, I don't have more muscle mass yet. Well, fuck me dead, man. It's been a week. What do you think's going to happen? You think you're going to fucking just blow up overnight or over a week after eating like shit for 28 years? No, it's going to take more time. So you can't determine, I don't have more muscle mass this week, it was a waste, right? Obviously, that's going to take a time component too, which is, again, you got to stick to these things for the process for a long period of time in order to see some results. But you can't have that outcome is looking in the mirror this week and being like, I didn't see any progress, all right? Oh, I didn't see my measurements change at all this week. Well, guess what? You can't use a small metric like a week to determine anything, but you can reflect on your process of the week and if you moved forwards with that. If you did, you're on the right track, right? That's physical. Let's say performance goal is your goal, all right? Well, then what impacts performance? Nutrition around our workout, getting adequate sleep, training and progressively overloading, and making sure your recovery, and again, when I said nutrition, obviously pre-post workout, also covering nutrition. So if your goal is to improve, let's say your goal performance-wise is to squat 140 kilos. Okay. Well, did you squat 140 kilos by the end of the week? No, I didn't get my goal. Well, obviously not, okay? Fuck's sake. Did you do the amount of, did you go to the gym the amount of times you needed to go to? Yes. Did you eat enough food? Yes. Did you progressively overload and push a few more reps out or did some extra weight on the bar this week? Yes. Add some extra weight in the bar, not did some extra weight. Add some extra weight in the bar this week. Yes. Well, then guess what? The process of what you did this week is a fucking success, all right? So you look back on your actions for the week and if they're in alignment with what you're trying to achieve. And if the actions are in alignment with what you're trying to achieve, that is progress, okay? This is what I'm trying to help you guys understand. You do not determine process from your outcome. You determine from the process. You don't determine progress from the outcome. Sorry. You determine your progress from the process you put in. These two words are fucking confusing. The week beforehand, all right? Or the reflection of that last week. And when you're able to do that, and you can continuously reflect on the week and determine whether you're on the right track or not, and knowing whether you're ticking these things off, you're actually going to be happier when you reflect if you're doing the right things for process. And you know what's even fucking makes you more happier? When you tick off the daily things you need to tick off. Because the thing is, when we work hard and we have a reward, we are way fucking happier than if we just got the reward itself, okay? Like, reward without action will make you fucking miserable. That's what happens with addiction. They get reward without action, then it controls their life because they're chasing dopamine, all right? When you put in the work, like anyone can tell you, I worked hard and this paid off. And you fucking feel great. That's what you're trying to chase all the time. Man, it was just such a tough workout today, but I pushed through it. Guess what happens when you push through a tough workout? You feel fucking awesome, you know? Guess what happens when you say you want to stick to no caffeine? So for me, I'm like, deload this week, no caffeine. Guess how good I felt laying in bed last night? I didn't have a cup of coffee. Fucking fantastic. Guess how good I felt after 10 a.m. this morning when I usually have my coffee that I didn't have a coffee even though I wanted it. And I was like, nah, I told myself I'm going to stay to it this week. I feel great because it's still work. It's meant to work to resist things you don't want to do, you know? But guess what? You feel fantastic for doing it. You have a little dopamine hit. You're like, fuck yeah, I'm doing good. The same thing, like, all right, I want to do my 10,000 steps. What happens when you hit 10,000 steps by the end of the day? Especially, this is the thing, it's been a busy day, you've been hectic, you've been trying to get stuff in, you got like 4,000 steps to do, and you're like, oh fuck, I'm tired. And you're like, no, you know what? I want to go out, I want to get a walk done. And you come home, like the amount of times clients have texted me later at night when it's been a fucking hectic day and they've still done things that are in alignment with them and they feel better for it, that's what I fucking love. Because I know they're happy with themselves. Because they put in the work, because they're committed, you know? When you commit to something and you say you want to do something and you pursue that and it's hard work, it fucking pays off, right? But the opposite happens is if you put in the hard work, okay, and you're not focusing on the process. All right. So if you get to the end of the week and you did those things, you got your steps in, you ate well, you slept well, you did your training, you did all those things, you're feeling good about yourself, which you should be because you're improving your health, and then you step on the fucking scale or you don't see the outcome you're expecting because you can't control the outcome, then you feel like shit. What does that do? Makes you resentful of yourself, makes you want to go and do something else, makes you want to go and fucking eat like shit, makes you want to skip the gym, makes you say, is it even worth it? What's the point? Fucking hell. You know, like I shouldn't even be worrying about this. Yeah, because guess what? You have chosen the wrong metrics and you're looking for the outcome that you can't control when instead it's focusing on the progress. You focus on the progress, you focus on the process of progress, you're going to be much happier, all right? And when I say happier, it's not like, oh man, I'm peaking, I'm fucking smiling all the time, I'm always so happy. People look at you and be like, the fuck is wrong with this person? Why are they always smiling? It's just that you're feeling internally good about yourself, you know? And it's funny because the momentum side of things, when you start to continuously do the things that process things that move you forward, guess what happens? We all know we feel good when we do things we want to do. We feel in alignment. We want to use that momentum to keep going forwards. How many people have started eating well, moving more, feeling better, they're on this high, they keep going? It's like the people who do the 10 and 12 week challenges. As much as I'm not a big fan of them, if you cut out, like, you know, when they cut out, let's say, the strict shit that they do, you start to exercise, you cut out junk food, you know, you have your clean food and all that stuff. Because they're eating well, and obviously when you eat well, I'm not talking about just being clean, but just eating better than you have. You've been having shitty food. You eat well, you eat regularly, you're sleeping better, you're exercising more. We're doing things that make our body feel good. You feel fucking good. That's why people can just absolutely smash a fucking 12-week challenge. Because when you got that momentum going, nothing's stopping the momentum. You're like, yeah, fucking I'm killing it. But then one thing throws you off, and this is where there is that break point where it's like, are you going to keep riding that momentum? Or are you going to let that one fucking thing that broke the camel's back, let's say, are you going to let it drive you into downwards momentum? Because it's like a skateboard, right? When you're trying to push a skateboard up a hill, it's fucking effort. It's trying to do the good things. It's trying to push it hard. You're going against momentum. You're going against gravity, right? You get to the top of the hill, you're like, oh man, that was fucking hard, but that was good. Now I can keep pushing, now cruising along. It's nice and smooth. I've got this momentum going. It's a flat road. But then think about when the wind starts blowing you backwards, right? Yeah, I'm just going to have a rest for a second. I'm going to sit on my board. The wind starts blowing you backwards. You start to go down the hill. How fast do you go down the hill? Because gravity's working against you, with you now. Same thing with your goals. It is so much easier to fall into bad habits, to make bad decisions, to let bad momentum keep traveling you in keep moving you in the downward spiral. Okay, it's much harder to stop downwards momentum and to gain that upwards momentum again. It's much easier to go on downwards momentum. That's correct. Yep. It's much harder to build upwards momentum. Yeah, that's right. Yep. Confuse my words here. But what I'm trying to say here for you guys is, like, you know, we want to use the things that we're doing in the process to make that momentum keep moving you forward and to build up that excitement. We want to do the things we're doing. I apologize. Fuck, I'm all over the place today. I hope these words are coming through with what I'm trying to explain to you guys. We want to use the process things we're doing on a daily basis to continue driving that momentum forwards, to build up the momentum, to keep making progress, okay? And then the way we do that is by not looking at the outcome and instead continuously focusing on the progress. And this is why I say to you guys, create habit things that you want to do on a daily basis, all right? Because if you're like, I got 10,000 steps on, I'm getting 10,000 steps. No one wants to break the chain, okay? You've got 14 days in a row. No one wants to break that. I've been practicing my German. I practiced it years ago and I stopped. I started practicing it again. It's been 4 months now, or 3 months, okay? And my little daily checklist that I tick it off, maybe it has been 3.5 months, because it's 135 days or something. There is no chance in hell that I'm going to forget practicing my German any day, anytime soon. I got a 150-day streak, all right? 140-day, whatever it's going to be. But guess what? If I lost my streak today, how much momentum am I going to want to be able to build it back up tomorrow? I'm going to be fucking pissed, man. I'm going to be like, you have to be kidding me. Are you fucking serious? And then it's like, do I want to do my German again? You know, as much as I'm enjoying it, it's just like losing that streak. It's a fucking kick in the guts. And you're like, oh my God, do I want to be doing this again? And you guys know, what I mean with that side of things. So, what I'm trying to explain to you guys here, with this momentum and this process, we want, again, like it always comes back down to looking at their goals, okay? Not having them specific exact goals that are going to be weight bound for the most part. Looking at your progress and the things you have to do on a daily basis as the goals themselves that you want to do, and building those habits. Because when you do those things, that's what's going to move you forward, all right? And also I'm saying that there's no end point, all right? There's no end point to health and fitness. You just keep doing things. I've been doing this for 12 years. Things have changed over time. I've added more shit in. I've taken things away. I've focused more on doing this. I've been doing this. It's like all over the place because it's just a part of your life. And if you just had a fucking weight goal and you hit that, you're not going to want to keep going to the gym. You're not going to keep eating right. You're not going to do all those things. You have to keep aiming things forward. And it's not like you have to do things that are absolutely crazy. Like for me, last year, it was all about adding boxing in. This year, it's just like I want to keep consistent with my routine of boxing and having cardiovascular health and also lifting. Like having that mix. And that's just keeping regularity with my routine. That's my goal for the year. Nothing specific. It's having regularity where I'm consistently boxing, I'm consistently doing my cardio outside of boxing, and I'm consistently weight training. Okay? That's still a goal that I have to achieve. And for me, it's like, did I do 2 sessions of boxing this week? Did I do 4 sessions of weightlifting this week? Did I do my 3 sessions of cardio this week? And not every week is going to be a win. But guess what? Some of the weeks are. And that's the most important thing. A majority of the weeks are. It should be, right? And so this is what I want you guys to think about. It's not a fucking end point. It's just continuously making progress through chasing different processes. And the more you try to grind, the more you try to do things that push you a little bit more, the more you try and just, work for the reward, the better you're gonna feel. Cool? So, I hope that episode was helpful. Turned a little bit compared to what I was actually thinking I was going to cover, but I think this is beneficial. And again, this is one thing that I'm really, really big on with the coaching with my clients, okay? Really helping them focus on that process side of things, not the outcome based, helping them actually think about what we're going to focus on this week and what's going to be a successful week versus what they actually think they should be focusing on, which is incorrect. So if you want help with focusing on the right things, actually achieving the goals that you're after but not being too specific, and you need that accountability, then send me a message on Instagram. We can talk about my online coaching and how I can help you set you up for long-term success and not focus on the wrong things. Cool? Till next time, speak to you guys then.